So let's go through the last 10K of your race.
Buddy, so aren't we over?
That was
Such a great period.
Okay, let's cut it off
Best
now.
miles in Ironman history.
What's the point of talking about that? Why don't we talk about the sea life behind us here? That's silly. That's been rehashed over and over again.
Buddy, I knew that.
I thought your show was popular, Bob.
Oh, he's hurting my feelings. So let's talk about Rachel Joyce.
No, we can talk about this. It's
that's
really your
okay.
show.
Oh, my God. It's old news. You ran a slow 10K anyways. Mark won. So what's the big deal?
No, I don't mind talking. I don't mind talking about it. I've let it go after 25 years. It bothered me for a couple weeks, but now 25 years later, I've let it go.
Did you let it go?
Yeah, so we can talk about that. Mark wants to talk about it.
I
Okay.
know. Yeah, okay.
I love that last
It's-
10K.
it's a good
that was my
story,
favorite
actually.
10K, yes.
Go ahead,
Mark.
First up.
Well,
First of the blocks.
okay, first of the blocks. My tactic going in
Yes.
was if I had the engine at the end, and I was confident at the end that my unsightly form would work on the backside of Polani Hill on the downhill, and I really wanted to run quickly on that backside of the hill and carry it all the way down to Lee Drive, which is about 1.4 miles when you're at the top. I knew exactly, and I thought it's a long enough runway with a long descent, a hard pounding descent, that if I could make my move at that point, I could get away from Mark.
Yeah.
And that was really my tactic. And as the race unfolded and we were together, I had dropped back at an aid station, had come all the way up. This was between mile 23 and 24, and I'm looking at the backside of Polani Hill. And everyone who's run this course knows that, you know, when you're riding your bike up that hill, it doesn't seem like anything, but at that point in the race, it becomes significant.
Yes.
And that little gradient, it goes up right away. And as I got next to Mark, I actually remember telling myself, you know, just relax. At the top, you're going to take off. And I had about 5 seconds to tell myself to relax, and
He's gone.
Mark is doing something else, so you better respond.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, we had been together, and there were a lot of points out on the marathon where Dave was really pushing it, and I didn't know if I could hang on. And you know, a lot of things happened for me personally out there, and finally, it became apparent that the move was going to take place on that hill, either going up or on the other side going down. And I had seen that as we were coming up to just the lesser upgrades, that it seemed like Dave was getting just a little bit weaker. On the downgrades, he was definitely stronger than me. And so I thought, okay, there's one last big up and one last big down. If I wait until the top of that hill, he's got it. He will have it. And so at the bottom of that hill, something just said go, and I took off. And I knew that it had to be more than a few feet, because, you know, basically from hour 6 till the end of that race, that's Dave's territory.
Yeah.
You know, if you were even in the same zip code, he knew he had you. And so I just sprinted up the backside of the hills as best as I could, and then just prayed all the way down the other side that I didn't cramp or stumble or fall apart or whatever. And I got to the bottom and looked back, and I couldn't see him. And at that point, I just felt like, yeah, I think I have it, you know.
So when you look at the fact that you had all those attempts in Kona, right, and you know, a 12-minute lead, guy runs you down in 84, 80, 86 was, you know, you were coming off of Nice, and Dave wins again, 87, you have a 5-minute lead or so. 88, when Dave pulled out the night before with his knee, everybody thought, oh, Mark's for sure going to win. And then you flatted a number of times, and Scott Molina wins. But coming back in 89 and having all those horrific experiences and finally winning, but not just winning, but having Dave there, and the fact that it was the greatest race you ever had there in Kona, going 8:10. How important was that to win, and not win in 88 when you would have, you know, when Dave wouldn't have been there, but to win when the best guy ever, right at that point, best guy ever had the greatest day of his life, and you ended up in front of him?
I couldn't have scripted it better, you know. Yeah.
Dave could have.
Yeah, Dave probably would have liked to have a little bit tweaking in the manuscript, but
Just a wee bit more.
you know, on
my side.
There were a lot of the years after the race where I was kind of cynical, thinking, well, why didn't I win this year? And even there were points after '89 I thought, why did it take so long? But if I reflect back, clearly, it was to set up this amazing battle. And had I won in '88, I don't think I would have beat Dave in '89, because I would have come in as the defending champ against a guy who's won it 6 times, and I would have had a very different strategy than I would have had as I did in '89, which was to just, hey, he's the best. He knows how to pace it. Stick with him, and then see how it plays out. And it was a day like I don't know if we'll ever see another day like that with two people
at the top of their game, 2 guys at the very top of their game, wanting the same thing and being together all day long. It was it was an epic day.
And with the history that we had over so many races all over this globe.
Yeah. Do you guys have any idea how many times you raced each other?
6.
No, not just here. I mean, all over the world.